Let's be honest, renting shapes modern Britain. Millions rent, and for every renter there's a landlord. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a nightmare. The numbers are stark. Between 2022 and 2024, private rents jumped over 10% nationwide, more in London. That's the fastest rise on record. For most, rent is the biggest bill, and it keeps growing. Landlords aren't all wealthy tycoons. Many are ordinary people with one extra property, hoping it'll fund their retirement. They face rising cost repairs and new regulations. This isn't a simple story of good versus bad. We're here to dig into the real relationship between landlords and renters. Why do landlords value good tenants? What daily frustrations do renters face? We'll look at the Renters Reform Bill and how it could change everything. We'll explore how wealth moves from renters to owners, deepening the generational divide. Forget stereotypes. Let's meet the real people behind the stats. The landlord worrying about a broken boiler, the renter anxious about next year's rent. Their lives are tangled in a system under pressure. By understanding both sides, maybe we can find common ground. Both want the same thing, a stable, secure home. Let's get into it. The image of landlords as passive investors is only half the story. For most, it's a business with real risks, mortgages, repairs, and regulations. If rent doesn't come in, landlords can face serious financial trouble. But beyond the money, landlords crave reliable tenants. A good renter treats the property with respect, reports problems early, and keeps things running smoothly. Stability is key. Finding new tenants is costly and stressful. That's why many landlords prefer to keep a good tenant even at a slightly lower rent. Professionalism is rising. Landlords must now navigate a maze of regulations. Good renters help by being communicative and responsive. This partnership makes everything easier. Clear expectations and mutual respect turn a transaction into a working relationship. It's less about power, more about trust. The best tenancies are built on cooperation. Both sides benefit when things run smoothly. That's the new face of renting. Reliability is the foundation of any tenancy. On-time rent payments keep everything afloat. Mortgages, insurance, repairs. Late payments can trigger a chain of financial problems for landlords. But reliability isn't just about money. It's about communication, reporting issues quickly so small problems don't become disasters. Respect for the property matters. No wild parties, tidy gardens, bins out on time. These small acts show care for the home and community. A reliable renter eases a landlord's anxiety. They transform a property from a source of stress into a stable investment. That's why landlords work hard to keep good tenants. Stability is priceless in the rental world. Good tenants and good landlords both want peace of mind. When trust is built, everyone wins. The best relationships are those where both sides feel secure. That's the real value of reliability. The landlord-renter relationship is evolving into a professional partnership. New laws and digital tools are driving this change. Landlords now see renters as valued customers, not just occupants. A cooperative renter makes inspections and safety checks easier. In return, professional landlords respect privacy and handle repairs promptly. Clear contracts and protected deposits build trust from day one. Transparency and fairness remove the us versus them mentality. Investing in property upgrades benefits both sides. A well-maintained home attracts better tenants and secures income. Working together keeps the property desirable and the relationship strong. Professionalism is the future of renting. For renters, the biggest frustration is cost. Rents have outpaced wages, with many spending over a third of their income just to keep a roof overhead. Upfront costs, deposits, first month's rent can be crippling, often exceeding £2,000. Insecurity is constant. Even perfect tenants can be evicted with little notice. This creates anxiety and discourages renters from asking for repairs. Moving is expensive and stressful, with costs piling up before old deposits are returned. Frequent unwanted moves drain savings and energy. The cycle of moving, saving, and spending just to stand still is exhausting. For many, renting feels like running on a treadmill, working harder just to stay in place. The system leaves renters feeling trapped and unsettled. This is the reality for millions in Britain today. Renting costs go far beyond the monthly rent. Take a two-bedroom flat outside London, £1,000 rent, plus council tax and utilities, totaling £1,350 a month before food. Up front, you'll need a deposit and first month's rent, over £2,100 in cash. For many, that's more than a month's take-home pay. These barriers make moving for work or family nearly impossible. Quality is another issue. Many renters live in cold, inefficient homes with high energy bills. Poor insulation and old boilers mean paying twice high rent and high bills. This feels unfair and adds to financial pressure. The stress impacts mental health and limits choices. Saving for a deposit becomes a distant dream. Social lives and career moves are put on hold. Renters feel trapped in a cycle they can't escape. The cost of renting is more than just money. It's opportunity lost. The system needs change to give people a fair shot. Until then, renters are stuck paying more for less. The emotional toll of renting is huge. Insecurity is ever present. Your home never feels truly yours. Section 21, no-fault evictions made this worse, letting landlords end tenancies without reason. Renters hesitate to settle in, decorate, or build community ties. Forced moves disrupt families, uproot children, and cause stress. Competing for new homes is frantic and demoralizing. Each move brings financial shocks, new deposits, moving costs, disputes over old deposits. The cycle keeps renters in financial and emotional limbo. Homeowners don't face this instability. For renters, the threat of losing their home is always in the background. Stability remains out of reach for too many. The Renters Reform Bill is set to transform UK renting. It aims for a fairer, more secure sector, ending fixed-term tenancies and making all tenancies periodic. Renters gain flexibility and protection from blanket bans and unfair evictions. Landlords get clearer grounds for regaining properties and support for dealing with problem tenants. A new ombudsman will resolve disputes quickly, without court battles. The goal? A balanced system that works for both sides. The biggest change? Abolishing Section 21 no-fault evictions. Renters will no longer fear losing their home without reason. Tenancies will only end if renters choose to leave or landlords have a valid, proven reason. Landlords worry about slow court processes and financial risks if evictions drag on. The government promises faster, fairer systems for both sides. If it works, good tenants gain security and good landlords keep control. If not, landlords may leave the market, shrinking supply and raising rents. The UK's housing market is about wealth and a growing divide. Renters pay landlords' mortgages, building assets they'll never own. The generational gap is stark. Older landlords bought when homes were affordable, younger renters face high prices and insecure jobs. Many landlords are accidental, inheriting property or renting out a former home. They're not always experts, and the responsibilities can be daunting. In many areas, renting costs more than a mortgage, but renters can't save for deposits. They're trapped, paying more for less security. The system transfers wealth from young to old, renter to owner. This fuels resentment and deepens the crisis. The paradox: renting costs more, but ownership remains out of reach. Bridging this gap is key to fixing the housing crisis. Landlords and renters aren't enemies, they're partners in a strained system. Both need each other: landlords for income, renters for a home. Legal reforms and technology are pushing the relationship toward collaboration, not conflict. The challenge is, cost-supply generational divides are huge, but not insurmountable. Understanding each other's needs is the first step. The goal: a rental market built on respect, security, and fairness. Homes should be more than assets, they should be places to live and thrive. Together we can build a better future for renting in Britain.